next week, it sounds like we're going to be able to open our childcare back up. So we're very excited about that. I'm excited for all of the children to be back in the building, to have a
Hmm.
better idea of how loud and noisy and fun it can be here.
Yeah,
But like I said, just trying to get by day by day, but we're doing well, doing really well.
good. So what has changed? We'll get to the daycare, I guess, in a minute, but you know, mid-March to now, and I know you weren't there in mid-March, but how has the YW continued your services, and then what have you clearly with the childcare had to halt?
Sure. Well, the services that we offer here don't just go away because the world is telling us to operate differently.
Hmm.
So, very much we had to still run our ship as we typically would. Our housing department looks a little bit differently right now. Our intake process is a little slower than it typically would be. We're social distancing. And like I said, our childcare is closed. However, our childcare staff has still been interacting and engaging with the families that we serve. Um, we feel it's very important that they don't lose access to all of the resources that they need.
Right.
So we've been delivering resource bags with food and diapers and activities for them to work on. So really, we have just taken the situation and thrown every idea that has come into our pot and gone with it. So it's been really cool to watch it all unfold. And I'm excited to see, what the next steps are going to be whenever we do start to reopen.
Yeah. So for those that don't really know, can you speak briefly about your housing support that you offer?
Sure. So we have an emergency shelter where anybody, it's low barrier, can come and stay with us up to 90 days. We also have permanent supportive housing and rapid rehousing. So for the most part, our permanent supporting and rapid rehousing are remaining the same. Our emergency shelter is really where our concentrated efforts have been during COVID. As most of you probably know, the governor passed down guidelines, the CDC passed down guidelines about what needs to be done in these shelters. So our dormitories are just that. They're set up in dormitories. There's shared areas, shared
Mhm.
bathroom. But several local organizations came together and provided every room with a microwave. So that was a huge help. One of the biggest concerns that we had going into this was if we're asking these residents to shelter in place, how are we going to make sure they have enough food?
Right.
And so the microwaves were a huge help in that. And I don't know, there was a great write up in the Canton Repository. Our lawyer, Greg Beck from Baker, Dubakar, Wiley, and Matthews, set up this beautiful program where lawyers in the judiciaries in Stark County have been delivering a warm meal every day, 6 days a week for the last 6 weeks to our residents.
Yeah, I've seen that on Facebook and I've had a few friends comment. That's wonderful. What a unique support.
It is. And, so the benefit of that is not just to us, also to the restaurateurs that,
Mhm.
certainly have had a decrease in business. So it was a great idea. We're so fortunate to be a part of it. And it's just, one more thing that we're really proud of Stark County for coming together and pulling each other up and supporting each other during these crazy times.
Yeah, we live in a very caring community.
Definitely.
I remember when Claudette and Rob Hankins moved to town. I was talking with Claudette and she said, I've never seen a community care for and react and be supportive of people that they don't know than here
Absolutely.
and the amount of volunteers. So that's good to know. Yeah. So what's been your biggest challenge?
I think just the day to day operations, it feels like just as soon as we get a plan together, those guidelines change and we are off
Right.
on another path. So that has certainly been our biggest challenge. Um, and I think that in addition to our challenges, a lot of strengths have come up. Um, like I said earlier with our childcare, any idea that comes up, we throw it in. So there's a lot of logistical things which are challenging, but certainly has only proved all of our strengths in our staff and the volunteers that we have out in the community as well.
Yeah. And I can't help but notice the graphic in the back. Can you
Oh,
tell us real quickly the numbers that you have? Like, how many do you house? right now?
So right now, really what we've been averaging is about 30 in our emergency shelter every day. So that can be family units, it can be singles. Currently today we have 30 adults and 3 children staying with us. And we provide that service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long.
Mm-hmm. And then in the permanent housing?
Yep. So permanent supportive and rapid rehousing, we have about 40 units in each. And they, they don't adjust as often as emergency housing. For the most part, they're there to stay or temporarily stay while housing comes available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then your childcare, it's great to hear that you're able to offer those services because those had to halt, right?
They did, yeah. Um, so fortunately, another great part of living in the world that we do today, we're still able to engage with our kids and our families every day. We've been doing fun activities like yoga sessions, log in and
Oh,
view our yoga session with us. Our early Head Start director started that. But also just being able to check in with the families, check in on their mental health, how they're doing, what they're struggling, what they may need. We're able to do that just like we are now on Zoom or whatever the platform is. So
mm-hmm.
that's been a really cool thing. And I think that we're certainly looking forward to using the same system whenever families may not be able to come to the center for whatever reason. We can still check in with them, which is not something we've ever done before, but are certainly looking forward to carrying on.
Yeah. So based on how it looked before, how do you have to alter your early childhood center now?
Yeah, so that's the big question, right? I think that most centers are still working those plans out. I know that we certainly are. We're hoping to open back up officially on June 3rd, and then our areas of early Head Start throughout Stark County will sort of follow after that. There's going to be a lot of cleaning measures, a lot of mask wearing, temperature taking, of course. Um, but as far as children will be children, and so we
Mhm.
are kind of like we've got to operate what when things come up, how we're going to handle them. Fortunately, during this time, we haven't had to lay anyone off. All of our
That's good.
teachers and staff that work in childcare have been taking this time for professional development. We've done a ton of training, just really mentally preparing for coming back to kids that have been with their families for this extended period of time. And now having to leave them somewhat abruptly as well.
Mhm.
So I feel like we're very prepared on that front. And we'll just see how it goes at this point. But we
Yeah.
are following all social distancing guidelines, and anything that the CDC or the governor has passed down, we are following those to dotting all of our I's and T's.
Yeah. So I talked with Kathy last week and she talked about the ratios. Do you have to make adjustments with your space?
We
And
definitely do, yeah.
yeah.
So there will be less children in each classroom. We're spreading out throughout the building. So we're making some renovations as far as that goes. But still, a lot of what we're doing is dependent on early Head Start and with the guidelines that they pass down to us. Those technically haven't been um, finalized yet, but certainly we look forward to sharing them with our community as soon as we know exactly what's going on.
Wonderful. And if somebody wanted to help, how could they help the YWCA?
So right now, there are a number of ways that you can help distantly. Volunteers, we're not allowing them in the building just for their safety and for ours, but we have several projects outside of our building that we could help with. We have a beautiful community garden here on 6th Street. Typically, childcare plants and watches that grow. We haven't been able to do that. We had to cancel our planning day with our families. So if
Oh,
anyone's a great gardener, we would love to have your services. We have all of the supplies. We just need somebody to come and do that. And then all of our buildings, of course, need just a little bit of TLC on the outside. Our staff typically would step up and handle these things, but we're just stretched so thin. The day to day, spring to summer kind of ordeals, they're not getting done.
right. Well, wonderful. Any last remarks? You spoke of the positive during all of this, so I thank you for that. That's usually my last question, but you answered that pretty well. Thank you.
Sure. I think that the one thing that the YW here wants to make sure that everyone in our community knows is that we're not going away. We are here. We're very fortunate that we have donors and grants that keep us going. Of course, all of those things are day to day. We learn new things about them, but we're here. We're not going away. We'll be here to support you. If you don't know where to turn or if you don't know what you may need, please give us a call and we're happy to connect you with whoever you may need.
Wonderful. And if people don't know, where are you located?
So we're at 231 6th Street in downtown Canton. You can also visit our website, ywcacanton.org, and find a slew of information there as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for taking the time today, Katie. Or
Absolutely.
Kate. I'm sorry. Do you go by Katie?
Either way, yeah.
I have a Kate, so I call her Katie, so that's where I went with that.
That's
Sorry about
fine.
that.
Hey, it was
Yeah,
great meeting you, Amy.
you too. Welcome to our community.
Thank you very much.